Welcome to the Tenant Podcast. I'm Todd Pierce. I'm coming to you from the 40 West Arts District in Lakewood, Colorado, and joining me from his art lair on the Road of Enchantment, it's South Dakota's favorite son, 1987 bog snorkeling world champion. You know him as quite possibly the most interesting man in the world, Wes Brown.
Oh my God, Todd, it's another weekend. Yes, 1987 runner-up, wasn't it? Or
no,
was it bog champion?
What? This is you, man.
I don't remember, man. I'm old.
I know 87
and I've done so
was
many
a long
of these
time ago, but holy cow, dude.
Yeah, 1987 though.
1987.
Yeah.
Champion.
Bog
now,
snorkeling.
Talk to me about bog snorkeling.
Bog snorkeling. Yeah, that's something that was fairly new back then. I don't even think it was an organized sport back then, but they build this 60, 70 yard bog, and you wear flippers and snorkel, and like everything else I do, I always wear the Speedo, the famous Speedo.
Yeah.
And it's fine. You can't see shit because it's a bog, right? And then you're going down, you hope you're getting to
dirty.
the end. It's nasty.
Kind of like you.
Yeah. And then you get out of the water and I'm nasty. And you get out and you smell like an old dead fish. So I was going to make reference to something else, but I thought I'd keep it clean. Yes.
It's a dirty sport. You're talking 120 yards snorkeling in muddy peat water, essentially.
Peat water. Yeah. Kind of like what you would find in Scotland.
In Wales.
And in Wales.
I think, did you get some kind of like one of those like brain eating amoebas or something?
I probably did, and that's why the way
Did you suck down any bog water when you were snorkeling?
I'm sure I did.
When you first start out snorkeling, and this isn't a sport you can train for, because who has a bog in their backyard,
right?
Or down the street. So essentially, you just show up with your Speedo and your snorkeling gear and your flippers, and you just go for it.
Right. Luckily, I was stationed in Hawaii back then, so I got a little bit of snorkeling in, nice clear blue water of Hawaii, and then I went to the deep bogs of Wales, and it was a different experience, and I'm sure I caught something.
Yeah, you sucked down some dirty water.
Sure. Yeah.
and this is a sport where you cannot use your arms. It's all
legs,
held by your feet, by your flippers.
Yeah. I like to do the dolphin kick. That's my favorite.
I was thinking maybe, do you remember the 70s show, The Man from Atlantis, Patrick Duffy?
Oh, yeah.
Remember how he swam,
Right.
Like he did this, like,
yeah, that's what
it looks like. It looks like when people would do the caterpillar, breakdancing.
Right. Yeah.
That's what I imagine in this bog.
I call it the dolphin
Wales.
kick, because you keep your feet together and then you're doing the, your body up and down.
Is it deep?
Is it deep? I don't know. It was deep enough.
Can you stand
I don't know
up
how deep it was, but it's probably about a little wider than a person, maybe wide as two people, and it's a timed event.
Right. So your time, which is well off the all-time record.
I would hope so.
But yours was 2 minutes and 22 seconds. That is actually really fast when you're talking 120 yards.
Yeah. Yeah.
Swimming with your feet in water that you can't see.
Yep. Propelled just by your legs.
That's pretty impressive. Now, the world record is held by a guy by the name of Neil Rudder. 1 minute, 18 seconds. I cannot. There's a pun in there, right? Rudder.
Yeah. Like you're gonna be fast if you got a rudder. And if your name is Neil Rudder,
you better be fast, right?
You better be fast.
He's won it 4 times since 2017.
4 times.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was kind of a one and done.
Well, that's what I saw. But you did beat Sean Evans, who also went on to win it like 3 other times in the 90s. So, kudos to you. And for being, one of the pioneers of the sport. Because I think even though, once again, this was thought up in a pub with a bunch of guys sitting around drinking, right?
Yeah.
In 1976, it really didn't become like somewhat organized into something until 85. And So you were right there at the beginning of it, in 1987.
Yeah. The other cool thing is they have mountain bike bog snorkeling now. So I haven't tried that though.
Well, you said that you need to get in shape, so you could do the whole triathlon where you run, bike, and then snorkel the bog.
Yeah. That sounds like a plan. Of course, I could have a massive cardiac arrest hitting that bog again.
Well, it's cold. Bogs are cold. But anyway, well,
there we go.
Once again, you never cease to amaze me.
I know. And, it's amazing.
Another thing that I found, I figured I had a little time off from last week. I do a little Googling. You know how I love to Google you.
You do. You're a Google master.
I'm a Google master. And I was able to find another fun fact about Wes Brown.
Quite possibly the most interesting man in the world.
You are quite possibly. And I have another fun fact that I found that I will be making people aware of next week.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Can't wait to hear.
I didn't know this about you, but I'm pretty impressed.
All right.
And it has to do with a band and a drum kit.
Sweet.
So tune in next week for the fun-filled fact of quite possibly the most interesting man in the world, Wes Brown. All right. Before our guest gets up and just leaves.
Yes.
So I think he's happy. He said he had his beer and tequila, I think is what he said. So let's get to it. But before we get into this week's interview, we have something exciting to share. Wes Brown.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm going to say?
Art and Ag, I think.
Art and Ag. We are bringing
2023.
Back Art and Ag for a second year. Art and Ag 2023. Fleischer Family Farm, in conjunction with the Tenant Podcast, present a one-day event, Art and Ag, Saturday, September 9th from 10 to 5. Come out to the farm located at 2005 South Zephyr Court in Lakewood, in the heart of the Southern Gables neighborhood. Experience this wonderful organic farm, buy some farm fresh produce, check out beautiful art, and support local artists. We're going to have about 10 artists, I think, this year. Some of which participated last year, but we have some new ones on the roster. So super excited about that. Stay tuned to our social media for more details. And in the meantime, check out the Fleischer Family Farm website at fleischerfamilyfarm.com and find them on Facebook at the Fleischer Family Farm. That's where they post every week what they're going to have for their Saturday market. So if you're in the neighborhood and you want some farm fresh organic produce, that's the place to be.
I'm looking forward to it. That's going to be fun. I'll be down there. I'm coming.
Are you going to make balloon animals again this year?
I can. Yeah. I might have to try it.
Do you have any other magic tricks you can do?
That's what I was thinking is maybe.
And I don't like the whole pull my finger one. That's lame.
That's old.
Yeah. Don't do that.
Used to like it. You used to giggle when I would do that.
I like when you pull a coin out of my ear, but I don't like the finger. I don't like the finger magic trick. It's terrible.
But that's probably the best I can do is the finger magic trick. That and balloon animals.
You got a month to figure it out.
All right.
Our guest this week is a Colorado Springs artist. He's curator and owner of the Lookup Gallery, located inside of the ethical fashion boutique Yobel that he co-owns with his lovely wife, Emily. You can check out his work at his website, clayross.art, and you can follow him on Instagram at 719clay. Clay, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me. Good to be with you guys.
I feel like I'm in with you
a bit.
Go ahead and say that again. I'm sorry. I interrupt you. I talked over you. What did you say?
I'm not sure.
Well, it's good to see you. It's good to see you.
Good to see you too.
Man, haven't seen you a couple months, but you are a busy guy. You have this gallery, the Lookup Gallery, inside the boutique, Yobel, that you own with your lovely wife, Emily.
Mm-hmm.
You have a solo show that had a soft opening this past weekend.
Yeah, last night. Yeah.
And is up through the month of August. And you are part of the collective that makes up True North Art Gallery. And we had a bunch of those folks on
just recently. Half a block away. It's a nice block on Bijou of exciting things going on.
Yeah. There's all kinds of like action happening on that block,
Yeah.
huh?
Yeah.
And on top of that, you're married and you have 3 kids, all teenagers.
Yeah. All of the ages that make me very sad.
In one way or another, right?
Yeah. My oldest is he graduated last year. Carter, he's about to turn 20. My middle boy Noah is about to turn 18. Gosh. And my baby girl is about to turn 15. So she's planning her birthday party as we speak.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Man, 3 kids in their teens. My kids are just, well, I have one that's out of their teen years and one that is at the tail end. He's 19. And I'm with you, man. It's kind of hard when they get into that age group, right?
Man, it is a lot. I mean, there is just nothing more that I love than my kids. And the only thing that I ever wanted to be, even when I was a kid, I just wanted to grow up and be a dad. And
Really?
it is the best thing ever, but teens are tough.
Yeah, man. It's a roller coaster ride for sure.
Yeah.
I think the best years is between like 7, and I have grandkids, 7 and 13. Once they hit like 13, then hormones just go crazy, and it's just like they lose their mind, right? And then when they hit like 21, 22, then they kind of come back around 25, so
like every comedian has a bit on this subject.
Right.
Yes.
Right. Yeah, that's for sure.
How do you do all this? Because I didn't know much about your relationship with your kids, but I just, in our multiple conversations that we've had, I just can tell that you're an engaged person no matter what. And I just assume that you were an engaged dad. But how do you balance all of this stuff that you have going on, this art career with...
Oh, I thought we established that when we got started. Tequila.
Just enough to take the edge off. Is that what I'm hearing?
No, I don't know, man. I mean, it's just like you just hang on. Whatever season of life that you're in that you don't know how you're going to get through it, you look back later and you go, how did I get through that? So I'm just in the middle of it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know the answer to that.
Just take it one day at a time.
I think actually I do know the answer to that. My wife, that's how. My wife is how. Yeah. I've always admired my dad. He's the steadiest man on the planet. He doesn't fake anything. Good, bad, or hard. He acknowledges it all, but he's just steady through it, and my wife is the same way. She's just steady. So yeah,
just like
that's
a
how
rock,
I do.
huh?
Yeah.
Emily. Thank God for wives.
Yes.
So did you grow up in the Springs?
This is home. I'm a townie. Yep.
Okay.
Sea Springs.
You were born there and then raised there.
I was actually born in Alamosa, San Luis Valley.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's funny. On my dad's side and on Emily's dad's side. So Emily's side, Spanish land grants hundreds of years ago, San Luis Valley. My side, Irish land grants, San Luis Valley. And then on my mom's side, they came over, covered wagon, settled in Cripple Creek, named Cripple Creek. It was horrible. They got the heck out of Dodge because everyone got sick and broke legs, and it was awful. So then they settled in Colorado Springs several years before Colorado Springs was established.
Wow.
So on my mom's side, we've been here since the get. Yeah.
So Irish land grants, you don't ever hear about that. So do you know much about that? I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like the good, the bad, and the ugly. America was given land to different people coming here, and then other people were coming and taking it.
Okay.
Giving land that they didn't own to people,
Right.
and then other people would take it from the people that was giving it to them, but it wasn't theirs in the first place to give or receive. So, lots of.
I know that I'm part Irish. I know the Irish had a tough time of it when they immigrated here. Mm-hmm. And I suppose when they checked in New York City, they were like, Irish? Okay, got a land grant in Colorado. Get the hell out of here. So,
yeah, I mean, we love the history side of our family here. We definitely can't wait to the day that life slows down just a little bit more so we can learn a little bit more about all of that. But it is fascinating, and we're proud to be here for as long as we have been.
Yeah, no, I think that's fantastic. Yeah, I mean,
not a lot of people
obviously,
can say that they're natives.
Yeah, right.
Did you grow up in a big family? Do you have other siblings?
I have two younger brothers and a stepsister. Yeah, and we all grew up here and love Colorado Springs. Are big, huge fans. It's Colorado Springs in our blood. My brother Casey owns Axe and the Oak, a local whiskey distillery. He just recently moved to Arkansas, so it's a very sad thing to expand. It's a good thing, but it's a sad thing for family. And then my brother Rocky, he's always been in entertainment, so DJing and breakdancing and choreography and everything. So he was in LA for a long time and then Shanghai for a long time and came back here to raise his little girl. So he is back home now. So we're all here. And then my little sister, Mikkel, she's here in town and is a massage therapist. Yeah, there's a pretty big gap between us and her. So she's the baby of the bunch, but we're very proud of her.
Yeah.
Right on. And I forgot that your one brother owned Axe and Oak, and I've given that bottle of whiskey to a number of people as Christmas gifts over the years.
Why, thank you very much. Yeah, we Emily and I are quality assurance. It's our cross to bear, but we'll take it for the team.
Somebody has to do it, right?
Somebody has to do it. Yeah,
and you got to keep it in the family.
That's right.
Keep it legit.
It's because I love my brother. Yes.
Yeah. The things that the sacrifices that we make for family.
Yeah.
So I got a question because you talked about drinking tequila as your survival method. What's your favorite brand of tequila, or do you have one?
I'm actually going through them right now. I really enjoying Reposado. I don't know all the names.
Yeah, I don't either.
Una Familia is kind of my go-to right now.
Okay.
But I'm kind of going through the list right now.
There's celebrities now doing tequila, I think.
So my wife and I love whiskey. We also love wine. Anything red and dry. We were at a friend's not too long ago, and it was a wine tasting thing. At the end of the night, he had my favorite whiskey, and so poured me a little bit, and it ended up being the last of the whiskey. And he's like, "Hey, do you want some tequila?" I was like, "No, I'm not a tequila guy." "No, you should try this." "No, really, I'm okay." "No, really, I'm fine. It's fine." He poured it anyway, and so I tasted it, and I drove home that night, and I picked up a bottle, and it just happened to be George Clooney's. So then I was embarrassed that it was George Clooney's tequila that I like. So now I'm going through the list of all these other things. So yeah, I'm enjoying learning a little bit more about all of that. Yes.
Yeah. Doesn't Sammy Hagar have a tequila brand too?
Every celebrity has something.
Yeah. I think Sammy was like one of the first celebrities to jump on the tequila bandwagon, but I think he ended up actually selling that company.
Oh, okay.
And now I think he does vodka. Oh, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know. I'll have to fact check myself on that, but I think he sold the tequila company. He tried to get all the guys in Van Halen to invest in it, and they were like, "We're not doing that." And then Sammy made out like crazy, and
it's insane.
Made $1 billion, sold the company, and now I think he's doing vodka. Anyway, that was a whole diatribe on
right on topic.
Liquor.
Yes.
Yeah, man.
On spirits. Yeah.
We should just make this a liquor podcast and forget
there we go.
The art.
Wes can start drinking.
You didn't want to talk about art tonight, did you, Clay? How long you been doing art, man? Has this been something that you've been since a kid?
Yeah, kind of as a kid, I was always drawn, and then in high school got into graffiti art, and had an art teacher had a couple art teachers that were incredible. I always thought that I couldn't paint because I'm colorblind, so I just stuck to black and white and pencil, and had an art teacher said, "No, you're going to paint," and gave me kind of a corner in the back of the classroom where the storage was. Stretch a canvas for me. He said, "Go to town." Gave me a couple pointers. So that first painting that I did ended up at the Fine Arts Center and won me all kinds of awards, which I was really proud of as a little high school kid. Gave me some scholarships to go to art school. One was to Savannah, Georgia, which was kind of a big deal at that time, 20 some odd years ago. And I thought I won the lottery. It was an $11,000 scholarship 25 years ago. So just like I'd made it, and then I found out how much the school was every year, and it was a drop in the bucket, and I was just completely deflated. So our local community college also gave me a scholarship so I can go there for free, took every art class that they had, plus a sign language class. But all of my art teachers told me to stop using my imagination. And they told me specific places in town where I could go and see what real art was. And it was very touristy. It was very Colorado Springs touristy. So real art was Pikes Peak and Garden of the Gods and Wolves. And that wasn't the art that I wanted to do. So I quickly dropped out and did other things with my life. I worked with adults with developmental disabilities. I pastored some churches. I did a number of other things, but art has always had a way of finding me. So early on, I'd have a coworker or friend, can you paint me this? Sure, get me some supplies and a canvas and I'll paint it for you. And then years later, I had a boss that said, enough's enough, Clay. I want you to do this painting, but you got to figure out your pricing and I want to pay for it. So then I decided I'm going to try to do this. And I was probably 24 and went to a local artist in town, Nancy Stage Robinson, who is absolutely brilliant, and said, I want to try to do this. What do I need to do? She's like, well, you need to get busy and these onesies aren't going to cut it. So she said, you need a collection. And she gave me some pointers and what I needed to do. So I just started burning the midnight oil and painting every night. And then I took a collection to Manitou Art Center and started doing that kind of thing. And there was a call for artists and new gallery in town. Went to this new gallery, took my collection, said, I want everything that you have. And do you barter? And I'm like 24 at the time. Like, what does that mean? And he's like, well, I'm a jeweler and I want to hang all of this, but these two pieces I want to take home and I would trade you jewelry. So I went home that night a hero because I brought home jewelry and all of my work got, but that was kind of short-lived. I kind of became the yes man. It was a really great experience, but people would come into that particular gallery and they'd want a particular artist's work and they say, well, this is the cost and this is how long it's going to take. And that artist who was established and busy would be 6 months to a year out. So he'd call me and say, hey, this piece in the back of the gallery, somebody wants to commission something similar to that. Could you do that? Could you recreate something like that? But like this, how long would that take? I was like, I'll do that this weekend. So I was kind of like the go-to commission guy. So it's kind of always been what I've done is just commissions I'll do, which has worked because I've always felt like art is going to be my retirement plan. I'll do that someday. And it wasn't like an ache that I had to do right now. I was just happy to do 1 or 2 commissions a year. There's been some years that are more than others and a couple of shows, but for the most part, it's just been that. But when we started the gallery last year, the gallery is unique because it's in a clothing boutique. So it's not, I guess for lack of a better word, it's not ideal. I wanted to do it, but it was also concerning because I didn't want it to be like going to a restaurant or a coffee shop or some, third space where it was an afterthought. I wanted the art to be as intentional as our clothing is and our mission is. And so we had to figure out a way to install a system that would because all we do, we focus on large scale. So we figured out that I did one show just to show artists what we're capable of in that space. And then our idea was that after that show, we do a call for artists. But really after that first show a year ago, I said, I don't want to wait anymore. I need to do it. It was the first time in my life there was an ache and I need to do this now. And it's time. So yeah, kind of both ends of the spectrum for me has always been a shared thing. I like working with other artists. I like being a megaphone for other artists. I like being a champion and a cheerleader. So curating space and working with artists is a big, huge, tremendous joy for me. But I also wanted to do my own work. But after that first show, we have yet to do a call for artists. We're booked till 2025. Artists just showed up, and it's just been absolutely amazing. A lot of fun.
Yeah, man. I'd say it's spectacular. And I've had the opportunity to see, I don't know, probably 3 shows, I think, over the past year. And they've all been just stellar and really interesting and diverse in what I've seen each time. I saw that you showed Stephen Morrell in your gallery a couple months back.
Gosh, freaking brilliant.
That guy is amazing. And I thought that was really cool that you did you know him? Have you known him for a while?
No, he reached out to us. I don't know, maybe because of the podcast. But it was actually our first show. Colorado Springs this summer is kind of tanked. It's been a rough summer. The rain, all the things, we can have a completely different podcast just on, all of that. If you don't know, to your listeners, Steve is a brilliant artist. I mean, I can go on and on. And I was honestly very embarrassed. I was so proud to represent him, but it was our lowest. We average about 200 to 300 people on a first Friday. It's a lot of fun. And that month, every gallery in town, it was just like crickets. Wow. I think we had like 75 people in that night. Really quiet night. We kind of thought that last month was going to be the same way because of all the rain, and it let up just long enough for people to come back out. But yeah, it was kind of our slowest month, and people missed out because that dude is just on another level.
Yeah, we had a great discussion with him. I love his work, and it's different. I haven't seen anybody doing what he was doing. So
yeah, there's I hope more people will listen or be turned on to him, because you got to get up close. You got to get on to what he's doing. The layers, the technique, the transparency, the colors. He really understands color and light and composition and form, and the dude's brilliant.
Yeah, when we were talking with him off the podcast, I said, "Hey, man, you really need to check out what's going on in the Springs," because he was talking about, like trying to get shows and stuff. I'm like, you need to hit up the gallery scene down in the Springs because there's so much going on there, and it's such a good. You guys have such a great vibe down there.
Yeah, it's fun. We've got a great. It's a good time to be in the Springs. I think it's a good time to be in Colorado. I think more cities and towns are starting to collaborate and communicate and work together and see a big picture. And, just as a townie just here, it's a good time to be here because we're doing that. Galleries, artists, everyone's kind of working together, and Curator and G44 and Surface. And the list goes on and on, but everyone's truly about raising the bar, working together, moving art. Yeah, and I'm sure he'll get another at bat here. I know that when he met with us, he was talking to Curator and G44 as well. So I'm looking forward to seeing him down here again.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Well, I think it's great that you gave him a shot and were able to fit him into your calendar, especially because you're so far booked.
Yeah, it just happened to work out. We had another artist that was going through some tough times personally, that just kind of had to pull out last minute, and he was kind of ready at bat. So snuck him in, and he's freaking awesome.
That's spectacular. Hey, circling back to your work, I want you to tell our listeners what you do, because we didn't really divulge in the intro what kind of work you do. So talk about a little bit about what you do, what mediums you work in.
Acrylic, because I have no patience. And I really truly enjoy a mess, like just an ultimate disaster. That is my happy place. So I just would never be able to clean up oil ever. I like acrylic. I do like mixed media, and I like aerosol, but aerosol is also one of those finicky mediums where you have to have space and time and air. Air is important, so you can't do that in a basement. So, and that's kind of how I got my start with aerosol. So I'd like to dive back into that someday. But right now, I have always loved abstract. So I bounce back and forth between abstract work and impressionistic work. I like landscapes. I've done portraits. Like I said, art's always had a way of finding me. So people always ask me to do something for them. So it's really always been what they want. And I've enjoyed that. It hasn't been a chore. I always feel for graphic designers that have to put up with people going, can you change this? Can you change this? And can you do it this way? Can you change the color? I'm like, I just couldn't do that. But it's always been fun for me. If they like my style, I'm happy to put your ideas on canvas. But right now, personally, for me, I love abstract and I like the landscape, but I love cityscapes. I like, currently I've been, my show right now has kind of been an exploration. Well, first a celebration of my town, but also exploration of color and light. I love light. I like that time of day in the morning and night where the sun's just kind of breaking through and going to bed, and it just distorts everything. It changes color, it changes shape. Things that are right in front of your eyes seemingly disappear. It's exciting and otherworldly, and yeah, I love it.
Yeah, I like the way it kind of it changes things. I like the way the light like really intensifies stuff,
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, it changes the color. If you're looking at a branch or a pole or something right in front of your eyes and the sun is behind it, that object will disappear.
Yeah.
It's exciting to me.
yeah, for sure. And cityscapes are really cool in, either, with early morning light, I just love the way they look. It totally, like you said, kind of changes it.
Yeah.
The show that you have at the Lookup Gallery, you said is all your city series, or that's what it's actually called, right?
Yeah.
But you said at the beginning of the program that you're colorblind. But I look at some of these images from this series, and I would never imagine that you were colorblind because your palette is so.
Well, I think that term is goofy, honestly. I mean, when I go to the eye doctor, been so many times with my daughter, and she loves it. It's her favorite thing in the world, or it used to be when she was younger. Nothing's her favorite now because she's too cool. But but it used to be her favorite thing. Go to the eye doctor. The little color test. And it's like, what number do you see? And I'm like, 8. What else do you see? 8. Is there any other number? No. I could see one little group of bubbles and everything. And she just got the biggest kick out of that. So I've always say that I'm not really colorblind. I'm color confused. So honestly, this year has been, I've learned so much. I feel like as an artist, I've grown so much, and it's been so much fun. I'm definitely a people person. My happiest place is in a crowd. But painting is the only thing that I'm okay with, just being alone. However, this past September, my wife gave up her office at Yobel so that I can have a studio. And man, it has been so much fun to have eyes. So yeah, I'm working on a piece and like, hey babe, I need your eyes. And she'd run down and she'd help me translate color. So I'm looking at it in the image and I want to do that, but I can't translate what I see to what color I need to use. And she's helped me do that. And it's been like, I feel like I have a superpower with her. It's just been, I've never had that. I've always kind of been limping along, and I've always used like primary colors, something bright, that I can kind of make sense of. To have her help me translate color to canvas has been a game changer for me.
That's really interesting. I think that's cool too. How long you guys been married?
We've been married 6 years.
That's it?
October, yes.
Okay. I would have guessed, I'm just going off what I've witnessed your interaction and then seeing you guys out and about posting pictures of you guys having fun that you would have been, married for 20 some odd years or whatever.
We grew up in the same crew. So we have a unique, I wish everybody had what we have had growing up with friends. Everyone was into arts, mainly hip hop. So dancing, DJing, emceeing, graffiti, all that. And that same crew has just kind of always stuck together. So, I mean, everyone's all over the world, but everyone reconnects. So we reconnected at a baby shower barbecue. Yeah, 6 years ago, just over 6 years ago. So we have a lot of history together. Actually, that barbecue, my wife was, we were both single at the time. My wife, her mom, like a good mom, like, you got to go to everything. You never know who you're going to meet. You got to go to this barbecue. And she's like, Mom, you're going to this barbecue. Like we're all like, it's just crew. It's just, family. Like, and that's kind of how we reconnected. So
that's a great story, man.
Been together every day since, and not everybody should do everything together, and that's not a problem. If you shouldn't work together, you should acknowledge that and not. It just works for us. So we literally do everything together, including I borrow her eyes. Yeah, and we work together, we dream together, we drink wine together, we just do the whole thing together, and somehow it works. Yep.
Yeah, that's right fantastic.
On, yeah. So right now you have two very distinct series that you work on. Mm-hmm. One is the City series, and talk about the other one that you have.
So the first show I did last year was called Dichotomy, and it really was kind of centered around the idea of in life, everything is happening simultaneously. You can be absolutely mourning about something hard in life, loss, trauma, whatever, and having a good day. So Emily and I always say that life is good and hard and good, but we're going to choose to end on good. It's all the things though. So yeah, that first series was about clean lines and shapes and mess and so just kind of everything happening at once, and that's kind of continued through this year, and it's evolving, and I'm really enjoying it. I spent a lot of time. It's really exciting with True North because I get to showcase both of those expressions every other month. But I'm excited I've put a lot of energy into City series, and I'm excited to kind of get back into this Dichotomy series in this next year.
So it's not something that you're actually leaving. You're going to continue to work on this particular series.
Yeah. I kind of, the thing about our gallery is it's large scale, which is, I think, a stretch for our community because there's not a lot there is space to do large scale. You can do that at G44 and Kreiser and Surface. Definitely have amazing, beautiful spaces for large scale work, but not all artists choose to go that big. We only do large scale. So if you're not starting at about, 4x4, that's kind of our starting place. Then we're just not going to show you. It's not going to work. Especially, that might sound weird for listeners, but our space is all of the artwork is hung above the boutique, up in the air at an angle. It's still line of sight, but in order for you to appreciate the artwork, it has to be at an angle So it is line of sight. But if it's not big, then you can't appreciate it because you're still a little bit a ways from it. So, anyways, it's been a lot of fun challenging artists to go big, and it's exciting to see. Like John Francis, one of my all-time favorite artists, he did a show with us this past year alongside Brian Cheyenne, and kind of stressed about going that big. And then afterwards, he had an immediate commission that was smaller, and he's like, I don't know if I want to go small. This is so much fun. I can pack so much detail into these pieces. So yeah, anyways, those are the two worlds that I live in and enjoy the most right now.
So Todd is showing Dichotomy Red #2. Can you talk about that piece a little bit?
Yeah, honestly, I think that show, so I did this show. So I did the first Dichotomy series last year. I did this one maybe 2 months ago at True North. And again, I can't say enough about that space and that community of artists. And I'm so grateful to have a space that I can kind of showcase both expressions and have room to experiment and everything. But I think to this day, as far as abstract, this was my favorite collection. And first Friday of this particular show, a collector came in and bought the whole thing. It was 9 pieces, and it blew my mind because as an artist, those things don't happen. Right. But yeah, so the one that we're looking at, same thing. You're going to see very clean lines, intentionality and overlap and mess and things happening simultaneously. Good, the bad, and the hard.
I love this piece. I love it the first time I saw it. And I'm glad Wes wanted to talk about it. Is this a piece that you were looking at before, Wes?
Yeah. This jumped out at me right away. And then, there's a couple other ones, the black with the gold, but we'll talk about those later. But
yeah, that's newer. The black and gold. I'm doing a lot of mixed media. I'm using a ton of paper.
Oh, okay.
To accomplish that. Just layering paper and paper and paper and paper and paper. It's a lot of fun. Completely different energy.
So when in this one we're looking at is called Morning Sun, is a mixed on wood panel.
Yeah, still in that like Dichotomy series. This collection, these 3 pieces are about hope. Yeah, my oldest son is obsessed with Mike Tyson right now. He likes the box. So Mike Tyson is one of my favorite quotes of all time is everybody has a plan until they get punched in the face. Really this was a very busy year and a very trying, hard year. And this collection is about those times and seasons that we find ourselves in search of hope, kind of at a loss of everything and just feeling a bit hopeless, but coming out on the other side of that. So that's what this series, I mean, they're all sold individually, but can be purchased as a collection because they do tell a story.
So how do you talk about process, like on this one where you say you're laying paper on the paper, is it glued on, or do you paint acrylic over it and then it just sticks to the other sheet, or what's the process like, if you can talk about that?
Sure. Yeah. I texture the wood, and then while still leaving room for some of the grain to show through. And then I just use a gang of Mod Podge and just start layering paper, like shredded paper on, pretty intentional, leaving room for folds and rolls and everything to be pulled back. And then I will use gold paint to kind of highlight all of the imperfections. I feel like it creates something special for the viewer. And then I am a big fan of varnish, but in the right places. So like with my city series, everyone's like, oh, I know Clay's work because I always think of a glazed donut because they're just so shiny. Anyways, with this one, I left room for kind of, again, that both and. So all the paper is very muted and matte, and the wood is extremely varnished. So I do a series of different layers. I put it on and let it dry, and put it on, let it dry, and put it on. And you put enough of those on, allowing enough time to dry, then it can start to look like epoxy.
Right. I love the layers. I really do.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. That whole miniseries, this Finding Hope miniseries within Dichotomy, is just brilliant as far as I'm concerned. I every single one of these pieces I think is just really cool.
Thank you. Yeah, that was fun. I am proud of that one.
And this abstract work, I mean, I love the boldness of it. I love your use of red, in a lot of these pieces. And a lot of times, I mean, this is really well done abstract as far as I'm concerned. And not to knock anybody else, but I see a lot of people doing abstract stuff that just doesn't resonate with me. But I really love what you've done with this particular series.
Thanks, man. That means a lot.
I love the messiness. I love the the shapes, the geometric shapes. Yeah, everything about it. Some of these pieces very much feel like they have like this Asian flair to them,
Yeah, I especially with the newer ones, I do feel like it's color, but the newer ones that you guys mentioned at first, I have got that quite a bit. It definitely was unintentional. I do think that color and circles kind of like lends itself to maybe having a meaning behind it. It doesn't. It just, I love shape. So, but yeah, proud of this one. I've always loved abstract, and it's one of my current favorite abstract artists is Jess Moran. She's a local artist here. I think abstract is hard because, I mean, composition is everything. Balance, I think, is so insanely important with abstract work. She paints and pours and then rips canvas and sews it together, and it's a whole thing, right? And she has tons of meaning packed into it. So I think for abstract art, there's several ways that you can miss hard. If composition isn't right, it's a huge miss. If you're trying to pack too much meaning into a work that isn't easily translated, which again, that's objective too, because it should just, every viewer can have their own story. But I think, sorry, the list goes on, but I think with her work, it's just a good example because she does everything that sets herself up to fail. Tons of meaning, taking two different, pieces and sewing them together and still having balance. And man, she knocks it out of the freaking park. I mean, she just kills it, destroys it. And that's what I love about abstract art is it's not just throwing a bucket at a canvas and calling it something. When you can still communicate emotion or meaning or story, have balance and composition. I think abstract art it's so hard to check all of those boxes. So I'm very grateful when my art resonates with people like Jess's does.
I mean, you have all these fantastic elements in each one of these pieces. The one I just pulled up is called Miami, and this is a beautiful piece, man.
Thank you.
And I love to see that a bunch of these are already been sold and gone. Was this part of the series? The guy that bought like 9 pieces?
It was. In that series, I had the same palette, and I was at Meininger's one day picking up more because this was primarily aerosol. And so I was picking up more paint, and there was a can of pink that I just could not live without. And I was like, I have to buy it because it makes me feel good. But I wasn't planning on doing anything. And I had one more canvas. I'm like, I have to play around. And this particular piece became the most popular of the entire collection. Sold before the show. I mean, I had little sneak peeks of it on social media, and it sold before I hung it. But it definitely was the most popular one.
Yeah, it's spectacular. I love it.
And I don't know, something about, I've always loved red, but man, this past year, there's something about pink. And yet, if you make it down the road to the show Friday night, there's a lot of pink in my city series.
And I see you use a lot of writing in your work too, on your abstract stuff anyway. So talk about that. What draws you to using words or symbols of?
I think most of that comes from, honestly, graffiti days. But I've always loved not a hidden, but just a big, bold, distorted, let me tell you something.
Right.
Yeah.
I love this piece that I had pulled up too, Good Number 2. And this definitely showcases a lot of your, the different elements that you incorporate into your abstract work.
This was actually the one that I personally brought home because I loved it. It's since been sold, but I think that whole collection, that original collection, this was my favorite. It speaks most to what I think I was trying to communicate. I mean, I didn't say it when I started this series, but it is that Mike Tyson comment, like, everyone has a plan until they get punched in the face, And so you see, like, what balance is supposed to be kind of up in the corner. You see, there's some intention then behind that first image, but it's like on a different like axle, and so there's some real like clean lines within that piece, but also like it makes sense, but at the same time, something's wrong. It's not right, but it's okay. It's still good.
Yeah, I think if you made everything geometric or even, it wouldn't work as well. The fact that you skewed the big big square really makes it work. And then the splash at the diagonal is really awesome as well.
Well, and that's just, again, kind of who I am. I like a manicured lawn. But everything else, I just kind of want it to be messy. It just makes me happy.
I love the layers of this piece. And I feel like when I look at this particular one, I feel like I'm looking at like a, film transparency. Like I'm looking at multiple transparencies that kind of got laid together. And then, like random accident kind of happened with, the like ink got spilled across it. But I love everything that's going on here. Did this series feel like everything that you've done from the very beginning to currently kind of came together as far as what you do in your work?
Not really, honestly, because really the meaning of the show, because I hadn't done the show for so long and I've only done a few. But this one, I truly wanted it to have intention, but also I just wanted to tell that story, even if people didn't hear it, of like, we have the plan, like we've got our ideal, what life is going to be or whatever. And it gets twisted and stained and someone rocks the boat or someone punches you in the face or life happens or, whatever. And so I wanted to, even in my, not just the expression, but in the medium, I had never done anything like this. So it was that whole first collection, all aerosol. It was all experiment.
Yeah, the reason I was asking that question is because you mentioned, your graffiti work as in your youth. So I was just kind of wondering if, even though that there was like thought and intention in this series, if you were incorporating all these different tools that you've brought with you through the course of your art career, and it kind of like came together with this concept as far as where your work was headed in process.
I mean, I see where you're going, and I feel that now. I mean, looking at it, you have up on screen. Looking at it, I'm very, very proud of that piece. Like I said, it's the only one I brought home for a while, and I see that. But I think as an artist, it was a good week. came home, got some cigars sitting on the porch before we all met. And I even posted like that. I think as artists, most of the time, I love going to artist talks because I think most every time artists say, I feel like a fraud. I feel like an imposter, you know? And so I think when you're in the thick of it, I remember being in the thick of this piece in particular, because I was working on 10 at the same time. And I just felt like this isn't going to hit. Like, no one's going to get this. This is stupid. Like, I've got aerosol going on. I've got stenciling. I've got all these things that I don't think people are going to understand. And I'm stupid and I'm not good enough. And, I just think that most of us, when we're in the work, we don't think that it's good enough. And that probably means that we don't think we're good enough. But now, I mean, it's a year since I did this piece. And now I look at it, I'm like, man, I'm really proud. I love that piece. That's the one. I'm very happy about that. But I think doing that, what you were just saying, I think when I was in it, I wouldn't have felt like I feel right now.
Gotcha.
Yeah, we all go through imposter syndrome, and some of us live in it longer or more than others, but I can definitely relate to that.
Yeah.
This piece is such a stellar piece. And so it didn't sell at the time. And so you liked it so much, you brought it home, but then somebody had been thinking about it. They saw it in your house and said, hey.
Yeah, someone at our local downtown partnership bought it, actually. Proud day. And it was fun because Emily did all the interacting with this gentleman. And the day he bought it, I was actually working at True North. It was my first shift or whatever. And he comes walking down the street. He just picked up the piece. And I walk outside and I'm like, hey, nice painting. He's like, thanks. Like, I'm the artist.
Did he get a kick out of that?
Yeah.
But you were right there?
It was fun. It was fun.
Yeah. Yeah, this is just stellar. And this is one of those pieces I've gone back to like multiple times, like looking at your stuff. I had to sit with it for a little bit because initially I was like, I wasn't sure if I liked it or not, which is what happens with art a lot of times. Like, first time through, or maybe even a couple times through, you're like, do I like this? What's going on here?
I think the challenge with yellow, which this is primarily reads yellow, at least for me, is I think that's the initial. If it just doesn't make you angry, it makes you confused. I'm not sure if I can like that. And so I think that's the challenge when you're using, if your piece primarily reads that color, it's a risk.
It is a risk, but you hit it out of the park, man. And I do. I love this piece. I love the colors. I love the play of, the little bit of the coolness that you have going on in there with the warmth. And it works on so many different levels.
Thanks, man.
And I'm glad you sold it.
It's all about red dots, man. Red dots is everything.
Well, sometimes, right? Like you would have been happy living with this piece too, it sounds like. So
I would have, but then at some point, then I think I would have questioned myself, like, I like it, but nobody else did.
Right.
So I read on one of your Instagram posts that in the last 10 months, like when you really were like deciding, you got this space that Emily gave you to use as your studio, and you've just been cranking. You've done like 42 pieces or something like that and sold 17. That's pretty stellar.
So now, 42, and I've sold 22. I sold half of them.
Nice.
Yeah. It's been a affirming year.
Tenant wants to acknowledge our media sponsor, New Magazine. That's NUE. You can follow both the national and the Denver edition of New Magazine on Instagram. The national edition can be found at new_magazine, and the Denver edition at new_Denver_magazine. and I want to share with you something very exciting. Check out the newly launched New Denver Gallery Guide. Look for the signage that says New Denver Gallery Guide that has a QR code. Scan it with your phone, and you have instant access to a comprehensive digital guide to Denver's finest galleries and exhibitions. Find this QR code in your favorite gallery, hotel, or coffee shop as you visit and explore Denver. Thanks for listening.
I'm Clay Ross, and you're listening to the Tenant Podcast.
What made you decide that you wanted to be part of True North Art Gallery? Did people reach out to you, or did you approach them?
No, Marissa and Skylar and Melissa reached out to me. I mean, that was easy. I think I said in the beginning, I love being with people, and art for me has always been something that you share. It's not about what you can do. So the times that I've pursued art in the past has always been more of a curator, creating space or opportunity. So I mean, that was the only hesitation to True North was, can I work it a couple times a month and afford a little corner? But everything else was easy. Well, I take that back. Sorry. To be real, the biggest hesitation, other than those just practicalities, is it's a co-op. And when I hear co-op, I'm out. Co-op is there's like a slew of words that probably aren't appropriate or don't feel good or whatever, but it just isn't something I wanted to promote. I don't feel like at this season of our particular town, small city, needs any recognition or muscle. I feel like in the season that we're in, we need to raise the bar for artists and buyers and collectors. And this is what, and aspiring artists, if this is what you want to do, then you've got to bring it. So Marissa, absolutely brilliant. So before she had approached me, there's a photo that she did last year. If you guys don't know Marissa, she is just a brilliant photo surrealist. I mean, gosh. Anyways, just absolutely obsessed with her work. There was one piece that she did with this girl in a red dress, and I was in the middle of 3 pieces at the time, and I couldn't stop thinking about this and reached out to her. I'm like, can I please paint this? I have to paint this. Can I please paint this? Is it okay with you if I paint it? And of course, she's super gracious and kind. And yes, just tag me, And so did that. Kreuzer asked to hang it for a holiday show. It sold. And so I knew her before. And then Skylar, I've always been a big fan. Melissa's the artist that I didn't know, and I've always been crazy obsessed with encaustics. Want to experiment with that one day. But yeah, it was just 3 powerhouse women that were brilliant artists, and I'm like, yeah, of course I want to be a part of that. And they're passionate about raising the bar, not just anyone shows up and gets a spot on the wall, but no, we want to represent artists that are about it and are talented and have something to say and have a signature. And yeah, it was an easy yes. And I'm so insanely grateful for that space that allows me to have a couple voices or opportunities to have a couple expressions in that space, but also that community is unbelievable. I was there today in preparation for First Friday, walking in there and seeing new work from all these artists is just, it's the most exciting part of the month, man. Love it.
Yeah, it's a great group. And the first night that that they were open, that I walked in there, I was just like, wow, you guys are going to go somewhere with this, because everything that I saw was just fantastic. Usually, when you're talking about collectives or co-ops, or you kind of alluded to it before, it's kind of hit or miss.
Yeah.
But I walked in that first night and I was like, oh man, you guys are doing something really spectacular here, which is why we got them on to the podcast.
I can speak for everybody with certainty that you walk in there and every month, in preparation for the next month, I'm sure everybody is like, damn, I have got to bring it next month. Because everyone, I mean, it's everyone delivers, man. It's just unbelievable. I was there today and I was just like, gosh, this is insane.
So you were already tapped in to this community of artists because of who you are and what you do. And so having that community, having people that kind of push you either out of your comfort zone or to produce stellar work. What else does that community or being part of that collective, what else has it done for you?
I think both Emily and I kind of share this. I mean, I think at our core, we're both just cheerleaders. I mean, we are true champions of the city and the people that are doing real things, whether it's our mayor or an artist or coffee shop owner. It's just kind of always been who we are, but it just gives us another. We always tell people when they walk into, because we own an ethical fashion boutique, so we have 65 global stories to share with people. And aside from those, we always tell people, we promise we will not tell you where to hike. You can figure that out on your own. This is Colorado, but we will tell you where to eat and drink. And this gives us another opportunity to educate people and tell them where to see like just some stellar artwork. Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
That's so awesome. Let's talk about this city series and what people can expect to see when they show up for First Friday this
Sure.
week.
Yeah. Well, I mean, a couple things. So there'll be kind of if you're interested, there are a couple pieces at True North that were kind of the heart of starting this series. Again, we talked earlier about that time of day when light distorts shape and color, and City Series 1 and 2, you just pulled up to Series 2. That palette is the most comfortable palette I've ever worked with. It just made sense. It resonated with me. I enjoyed it. I didn't have to ask Emily too much questions. It made sense. And I do want to do more of that in that theme and palette. But as I started to work towards this show, for me, it had to be all of because those are just reference photos, but it really needed to be a celebration of my town and my experiences, just kind of my everyday. And a lot of that, last night was kind of the sneak peek for friends and family and a few collectors. And the show is dedicated to my dad. He truly is my hero. He's a great, great man. And I've always admired really everything about him. But as I shared last night, there was a season where he was doing some traveling sales stuff. And I remember him telling me about taking moments. And one particular story where he was driving and kind of in the middle of nowhere, he stopped, pulled off the side of the road, climbed up on the hood of his car, reclined on his windshield, and just enjoyed the moment in the sun, and I do believe in healthy rhythms and taking time off. This season hasn't allowed that, and nor am I really good at that. But morning and night has always been kind of that for me. I really enjoy, my commute in the morning, taking pictures of the sun coming up, my drive home. So this series is a lot of that. It's the bench on the corner when Emily and I are locking up the shop and heading home. It's the train that has just kind of lived in our train yard since I was a kid doing graffiti. It's the iconic William Palmer that everybody knows, and everyone always wonders, why don't they just move that to the park? It's in the middle of the streets. Why? I mean, 1 billion people have driven right into this statue. It's all those moments. And at the same time, it's these moments, morning and night, where the light is just doing something special for us. It's just putting on a show. It's taking the everyday things that we are insanely familiar with, and changing their construction and changing their color and changing the way we view what we know so much of. And in addition to that, our city is one of those cities where it's a iconic tourist place. So when you think of Colorado Springs, you're thinking of Pikes Peak and Garden of the Gods and the Olympic Training Center, And for us, I mean, if you don't love Pikes Peak, you're insane. But for us that are townies, or for me, I guess, Pikes Peak isn't the main attraction. Pikes Peak is just another friend in the room. So in this particular piece that you pulled up with Palmer, Pikes Peak is there, but it's just another friend that you're familiar with. That's, at the barbecue with you. It's not the main attraction.
I think Colorado Springs is the most beautiful city along the entire Front Range. I've always said that.
Well, you can keep saying that.
More beautiful than Boulder. But I always had the sense that, Colorado Springs can be a little funky, right?
Sure.
The more time I spend down there and checking out what you guys have going on, the more I just really appreciate not only the people, but just the whole vibe just in general. It just feels good. The first time I went down to explore, and I knew that if we're going to continue to do this podcast, we couldn't just be Denver centric all the time when we're talking to somebody from Colorado. And I was just blown away. I get this from every single person that I've interacted down there, every single artist. There's this pride for your town, for where you live. Everybody is all in on the Springs, man. Where does that come from?
Well, I think if you do love this town, you're involved in it. And when you get it, you get it. I think there's, it's like we talk to our kids, if they are given everything, they're not going to appreciate, what they have. If they work for something, there's a little bit more ownership and, all those cliche things that are true. But I think in our city, that is the thing. America had a huge return to urban resurgence. This started about 20 years ago. As America did the suburbia crawl, there's this real cool attraction to get back to these hubs of our cities. The challenge for Colorado Springs, one, we're always behind the 8 ball. So we're, 10, 15 years late to that party. But we didn't have an urban to return to, and culture, arts. We can go down that vein, but it is birthed out of hubs. So city centers, universities, these kinds of places. And we just did not have an urban to return to. I mean, Colorado Springs has Tejon. A downtown isn't a street, So, and we just didn't, Pueblo has more urban infrastructure than Colorado Springs does. So really, we have had to create it. And what has been so insanely special, and I'm so proud because I know all of these people, the people that have started distilleries and breweries and galleries and performance arts places. And just the list goes on and on and on. They've all done it because, one, they have a talent, and two, they care about the city. There was a time I remember that I felt like there was this youthful teenage arrogance in the city. Well, if they would just, if they could just, whoever they are, because there's always a they that fixes everything, right? But it was just this arrogance, pointing the finger. And then it became, or maybe simultaneously, it was well, if people would just give me, I have this great idea, if they would just fund my great idea, it was ugly. But then that turned into instead of if they would just have an art gallery, or if they could just have food or whatever it was, it became oh, well, I'm an artist. I could do that. I can create it. And so people actually about 10 years ago started saying, well, I'm an artist. I'm a chef. I'm a brewer. I'm a, fill in the blank. I'm going to throw my hat over the fence, put some skin in the game, and I'm going to do it because I love home. And I'm pretty passionate about that and get really emotional about that because I've seen so many friends and not just people that I've known before, but people that I've befriended that are just heroes now. Really put some real skin in the game, not just so that they can feed their family, which is also important, but they've done it so that they can better this city. So if you're not experiencing what's going on in Colorado Springs, you're missing out.
Right on.
Well, it sounds like a lot of people are planning on taking part in Colorado Springs because it's one of the fastest growing communities in Colorado, if I remember right.
It is. Yeah, it's crazy. As a townie, about 7 years ago, we added 700 residential units downtown to our kind of urban core, which is very, very small. But growing up, I mean, that's huge. It's monumental. Like 600 units, however many it was. That's huge. It's 3 different complexes. This year, next, we'll add 5,000. That's a freaking game changer.
Yeah.
It completely changes, if you're a true chef wanting to have a signature and get your name out and do something special for your city, you have to have butts in the seats. 5,000 people, 5,000 residential units are going to put butts in the seats. Yeah. If you're an artist wanting to hang something on somebody's wall, 5,000 new units in the core of an urban area is going, I mean, it truly is a game changer. I mean, I think that we have about a year and a half, 2 years of kind of holding our breath before we really see some of that come to fruition. But personally, I am so insanely grateful for food and beverage in our city, setting us on the right trajectory. So it feels good.
And you got a ton of space to the east of you that's just growing like it's crazy.
Oh, I mean, yeah. I mean, Colorado Springs will continue to do the sprawl. I mean, that's kind of been our MO forever. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's definitely refreshing. Like if I'm tired of what's going down here in Denver, I head to the Springs immediately. It doesn't take that long to get there.
Yeah, so close.
And every time I go down there, I explore or find something new. I mean, you turned me on to a couple restaurants. I think the first time, or at least the second time I was down there, and I got to converse with you. And I can say right now, like if I said to my wife, Barb, hey, let's go down to the Springs for the weekend or the night or whatever, she's totally down. She's like, I love it down there. But yeah, it's really refreshing and nice. And I felt that from the very first time I went down there and, hit a bunch of galleries and walked around and, was able to converse with a bunch of artists and, people in the community. Just fantastic.
I feel extreme amount of pride because we just kind of macro in our space, we wanted to create a space that we wanted to go to. And I feel like we've done it. Like we wish we could travel more, but kind of COVID kind of threw a little wrench in that. But Anyway, when we go places, we love to explore together. And we really want to create a space that we would want to go to. And we feel like we've done that. But aside from what we've done, we're really proud of what the people of Colorado Springs have done, because we feel like Colorado Springs and the insane talent that is here has created a space that we would want to go to. We love living here. We love exploring here. We don't get much time off, but we try to take a little break on Wednesday so that we can go explore and eat and go to all the galleries and everything. And this is the place, if we're on vacation, we'd want to be here. It's a good spot.
I pulled up another piece from the City series I want to talk about.
Okay.
I really love this Boulder Park piece.
Thank you.
There's something that just is comforting, and it just gives me this warm, happy feeling when I look at this particular piece.
Thank you. That sold last night.
Did it really?
It did. It did. That is, we're just a couple blocks away from that. That's Boulder Park, just down the street from us. Memorial Hospital is kind of in the back on the left in that painting. But yeah, that's kind of my morning walk. If I'm feeling ambitious, it'll be my morning jog run when I feel like I'm really, really doing good and in shape. Mostly it's my walk.
Yeah, it's a beautiful piece.
How many pieces are in this show that you have?
12.
12 total?
And then 3 other teasers at True North.
Okay. And you sold how many last night?
5.
Holy
Wow.
cow, dude.
That's awesome.
That is spectacular. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. I know how hard it is for artists. I do not take that for granted. For listeners out there that don't know, aside from talent and everyone's going to be drawn to different art and different signatures and different personalities and, yada, yada. But aside from what you're just attracted to, listeners should know that, for every show that they go to and they truly are seeing a solo show, that artist has worked a year to 2 years preparing for that show, working on that show, doing the work, coordinating, planning, all of the things. It's a lot of work for artists that are out there. And when you go to an art gallery, I know that the quick knee jerk is to look at one painting and go like, this person must be rich or selling this piece for X. But that artist might be selling one painting for X, and that's their annual salary.
Yeah.
So it truly is their livelihood as well as their passion. So I just want to give a shout out to all the artists that are truly like just cranking it because it's who they are.
So these cityscapes, it sounded like you worked off of reference photos.
Yeah, they're all my photos.
Okay.
Aside from City Series 1 and 2, those crosswalk ones, and lunchtime. Those are just some reference photos. But everything else are photos kind of from home that I take in the morning and at night.
So you always carrying a camera with you when you go on your walks?
Yep.
Yeah.
Aren't we all?
Well, that's true.
Just my phone. Just
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, and that's all you need is a phone,
Yeah.
you know? In fact, we were just talking with a painter a few weeks back, Chris Long, and that's all he uses is his phone. And actually, a lot of times it's his wife that's taking the picture, but he's like, he doesn't want anything that's too detailed. He kind of just wants it literally is just a reference. Like it's just to capture an emotion of that moment. And then from there, he takes it on his own, his own path.
Yeah.
This lunchtime is also another piece that I really thought was brilliant because I can't tell you how many times as a photographer, I look at shadows.
Yeah.
And how they're being cast by either, objects or people or whatever, and the abstractness of it. So I can really appreciate what's going on in this piece, Lunchtime.
Thanks. Yeah, I like this piece because it could tell 100 stories, Lunchtime is what I titled it, but everybody has a story for that piece, of what's going on.
I love the composition. I love the diagonal lines, and it really works well.
Thank you.
You like working in that square format?
It's my favorite. I think kind of there's some pieces that I just like wanted to elongate, but I like landscape, and I think because most landscape is in that ratio of kind of this elongated rectangle. I like the kind of almost contradiction of doing a landscape in a square.
I agree. I didn't always think in those terms, but I'd say within the last couple of years, I've appreciated the usage of the square format.
Well, and I mean, and maybe kind of subconsciously, most of my reference photos have been something I've posted like on my drive home at night, like that one in the top corner, or my, the one on the top left is my morning commute, when I pull out of the driveway, and it's on Instagram, and that's how it ended up in a square. So maybe that's why, but I really do like the idea of a landscape just being in a square.
Yeah, it's another great piece, man. You paint light really well. I can tell that you spend a lot of time looking at light.
Thank you. That means a lot. I like, somebody said last night, like they felt like they had to squint. And I was telling Emily just a couple months ago, like, that's what I want to accomplish. I feel like I have done it. If you have the sense in, because it's paint, it's not light. Like,
Yeah.
you don't need a squint, you're just looking at an image. But if you have this like knee jerk, some kind of something in you that makes you feel like you have to squint, I feel like I did it.
Yeah, they made a connection. Yeah.
You definitely did it. And I totally see why people would, somebody would say that, because I do feel that. I do feel like, I'm pulling out of your driveway, looking down the street into the sun, and I want to squint.
Thanks, man.
Obviously, you get a lot of support from your community, but who would you say is your biggest support?
Oh, my wife. Yeah, easy. Yeah, that's just a no-brainer. And we were putting up my show the other night, and I was a little numb because I was just doing all of the wiring, all the stuff that's not fun, and bringing it up. She got teary-eyed, and I was just like a little too numb to like be in that moment with her. But it's pretty dang special when your significant is just there with you. I mean, she's really, really in it. Yeah, and I feel like that is saying a lot, because I feel very, very, very supported. I think we have a good community, an unbelievable community, and I feel like I have more support than I deserve. So to have somebody top that is speaks volumes.
And I figured you were going to say Emily. And this is why I assume that you guys have been married for, 20 years because of the way you interact together. And it just feels like you're obviously separate people, individuals, but you feel like you're a team, like you're one, and that you complement each other very nicely. How do you go about pricing your work? Like, all this that I'm seeing is very reasonable.
Yeah. So I kind of start at a square footage price. I start to kind of like taper down when it gets bigger and bigger. And then once I've like factored the square footage price, then I take in, kind of the complexities of all of it. And I might go in one direction or another. But for me, I kind of start with the square footage.
And I think I saw somewhere that you've been making prints of this work as well.
Yeah, first go of ever doing prints this year. So I haven't done any of my abstract stuff. I don't know if I will. Maybe. But I have prints of some of the city series. Just kind of first teasers that I've had out for a couple months. And then this show that is showing right now, I'll have prints of all of that. Maybe the end of the month, end of next month.
So how's Prince worked out for you? Good reception?
Good. Yeah. Yeah, I think it's nice to offer, anyways, as an artist, just generally, But I think in particularly for me, because I enjoy going big, we love our home, absolutely love our home, but we live downtown. We live in a 100-year-old home. We don't have walls. We we always tell people you're always invited over in the summer because our space like multiplies. But if you come in over in the winter, we have a chair, and we'll all have to share it. Um, so we don't have wall space. So we have a couple prints of ours that we love and a couple originals, but they're small. So I mean, if I was looking at somebody else's work that's a 4x4 or 4x5, we don't have room for that. So I think it's important to have an option for people to take something home that either can't afford the original sold, or just practically don't have the room.
Yeah. So it sounds like it's been a good thing for you offering these prints. How much do you charge for a print?
I'm looking at my wife. I think the 12x12s are 85 giclées, and 20x20s are 250, 275.
Nice.
Yeah. So we found a great little place in New York. It's a family-owned place that does our prints, and been very pleased with them. It's been awesome. Yeah. We'd love to do that right here, but nobody does that right here. Emily says 85 and 210 are the prices for the prints. We're just going to keep throwing out numbers. Yeah, whatever's with you, that's what we're doing. I don't know.
This week.
Yeah.
So this is something you've implemented into your business plan, for lack of a better description. What other things, because you're an entrepreneur, man, and you know the importance of making sales, and in order to make this thing go, you got to move pieces, you got to make some money, supplies, costs, all that, time. What else have you really implemented in the last year or so, since you've kind of really gone all in on this thing, into your business?
Nothing. Tequila. I thought
tequila.
Tequila.
No, really, there's other things that I would like to. A big part of what we're doing is Yobel as well. We're an ethical fashion boutique. We work with 65 global artisans. We're very proud of what we do there. But in order to do that, I have a full-time job selling flooring. So we always kind of jokingly say you have to have a real job to pay for the dream job. So that's what I do full-time. So on the side, so this last 10 months, I've kind of dedicated nights and weekends to paint. So there's lots of other things that we'd like to do, but we're just not there yet to implement anything else. Yeah.
Gotcha. I'm glad you shared that. We've talked to multiple people, and they are full-time artists. Brett Andrus is one of those people.
Yeah.
But they have they have a daytime job that they go to, and that doesn't take away from the quality of the work or what you do as an artist. You're still a full-time artist, just have this other gig that you do that, you got to put food on the table.
Right.
The economy has been a bit weird the last couple of years, and definitely since COVID, depending on what industry you're in. And I think that's just the reality, and there's no shame in it. And I think it needs to be said multiple times over and over that just because you have something else that you do to make money doesn't detract from who you are as an artist or the work.
Yeah. I mean, I do think, and I'm very grateful for you guys doing this. I think education is important. I think ignorance isn't bliss. It's just ignorance. I think that it's important to, in the same way that, people will come into our shop and like, well, why are these boots so much? Or why is this shirt so much? And like, oh yeah, I'm glad you asked. Let me tell you why. It's because people got paid. because there wasn't child slavery. People weren't working, and sleeping under the sewing machine. I can answer that question real easy and tell you the importance of all of that kind of stuff. I think it's equally important to share what artist has to sacrifice, or how hard they have to work, or how long it takes, the supplies that they have to get, all of those things. In addition to, I don't think people realize that for artists, it's not just, making a sculpture or painting something or taking a picture. Like, in addition to that, you're also like figuring out how you're going to afford your supplies, figuring out, if you can even get your foot into this gallery, and how far out are you going to have to wait to just have your time to show. I mean, you've worked, a year or 2 years, and you have this one night that there's this first Friday that people are going to come and see your work. I think it's important for shows like this that are out there to educate people, so they know that it's not just like, oh, this person did this last night and now they're selling it for $5,000 and all it took is nothing. No, it took years of planning, the years of developing skills and honing things in. And in addition to that, that artist also has to be their own promoter, their own, salesperson, their own web designer, the list goes on and on. And I have so much of an appreciation for artists that can really promote themselves, but I have an equal amount of appreciation for artists that are, we have a handful of artists that we've worked with this year that completely could have sold something on their own before their show, but they've called us and like, hey, we're doing this for the show, and can you talk to I have somebody that's interested, can you take care of that? Because they're like completely terrified to talk to buyers and promote themselves, because it's terrifying. For most people, it's terrifying to sell anything, let alone your craft. There is so much that goes into being an artist. And so when you see a price tag and you're just looking at a thing, I think it's hard for a lot of people to quantify what is behind that image.
Yeah. Everybody looks at the service, thinks they just whip this stuff out, and it doesn't take any, and you take in all the years that you've been working on your craft to master it to this point, that you got to factor in all that.
Yeah. I love the conversations that we have, but with artists, but I absolutely adore Abigail and Gundy from Kreuzer and Gallery 44. And I love popping in there, and they're meeting with artists, and they're talking about a show that's going to happen in a year and a half, 2 years. And they're being insanely strategic about how they're going to curate the show and how they're going to promote this person. And there's so much that goes into being an artist and curating a show. And it's sad that for curators and artists alike, for the majority of everybody, there's one night to shine for like 12 months average of work.
Yeah.
So true. Have you always been an industrious person? Because, like I said at the beginning, you have a lot of irons in the fire, and, not everybody has that thing. So what compels you to make things, to create?
Yeah, I honestly don't know if I know how to answer that. I don't think I've really set out to do really anything. I kind of feel, just kind of a quick answer, I kind of feel like the art answer earlier. I just kind of feel like art has always had a way of finding me, and these other things have just kind of found me. Like I said, the only thing I ever wanted to be is a dad. Everything else I love. And I do think that I'm just kind of a natural born, God-given cheerleader. That's what I was placed on this earth to do, is rah, rah, rah. But all these other things, like I truly enjoy them and feel very passionate about, but not my dream, not my goal, not what I set out to do. So other than that, I don't know if I have a better answer than it found me.
I want to talk a little bit more about your gallery and how it came into being. But before we talk about that, we need to really talk about Yobel.
Yeah.
So talk about, I mean, you've touched on it, but talk about the mission and how long you've been involved with the boutique.
Yeah, Yobel has been around for, since 2008. Emily and I both were huge fans, supporters, cheerleaders. We loved what they were doing. So Yobel started as a fair trade little boutique. Actually started, Donovan Kennedy and Sarah Race founded it, and they're both, college somethings, working, waiting tables and traveling the world. And it really doesn't matter if you're like hopping the pond going somewhere or you're crossing the tracks, whatever that represents in your town. And you see pain and you see need. I feel for the majority of us, when we go back home, there's just this innate need to do something about that. We need help. I don't know what that looks like. And so for these two amazing human beings that we adore, they did the same thing. We were in several different countries, saw need, saw hurt, saw pain, and needed to do something. So they started to bring back products to the U.S., saw artisans that were making things, brought it back, would do farmers markets, kind of felt like they can give people in the world a bigger platform. That turned into a storefront. That storefront turned into a nonprofit that was doing business training globally. To this day, the founder does that globally. But we got married. Our first date was in 2017 at my brother's distillery, Axe in the Oak. Our conversation was centered around what was going on in the world, and we talked a lot about Yobel. We got married at Ivy Wild, which was where Axe in the Oak is, and Yobel was also there. We had our wedding photos at Yobel. On our honeymoon, Sarah from Yobel called us and said, "I need to talk to you about Yobel. I don't know what that means, but I just know that we need to talk." So we didn't know if that was Emily's going to design things. We're going to start another location, lots of conversation. And Emily designed a few things. And then Sarah says, "I feel like I need to do the global training. Don't really want to sell, but if I'm going to sell, I'll only sell to you. Are you interested?" So anyways, fast forward, we bought Yobel from Sarah, and super proud to carry on the legacy of Yobel. And we had 6 really great months in this little tiny place in Ivy Wild. And then the world shut down. So at the time, Yobel was doing fair trade accessories, so bags, jewelry, small things like that. Our dream was to be able to do men's and women's ethical fashion, head to toe, everything. And so after the world shut down, it was like, that was kind of our 5-year plan. And after the world shut down, it was either throw in the towel, go out of business, or take a risk and go big. So we moved out of, in the middle of COVID, when everything was shut down, we moved out of our space. We found a new one. We did a full build out. We were closed for 4 months and then reopened. And then during that time, so I had to take vacation time to do the build out. We were just like around the clock. And when we weren't doing the build out, we were sitting on our couch trying to find artisans that can do everything and checked all the boxes for us. Because for us, people and planet is our priority, but people and planet is really our big thing, but people are our priority. So we have to make sure that people are treated well, have safe working conditions, and paid a living wage. And that paid a living wage piece That's less than 5% of the garment industry globally. It's insane. To this day, most of our clothes come from slaves. It's insane that can continue to exist. So we just want to do things the right way. So we opened up July 4th, 2020. We reopened. And yeah, it's we've been 3 years downtown in that space. We're the only head to toe men's and women's ethical fashion boutique in Colorado. Last year we won Social Impact Business of the Year. We're very proud of that. And yeah, we just celebrated 3 years.
That's amazing.
That's fantastic. Congratulations. And I was going to ask you about that award. So that's really significant. Congratulations to you guys.
Thank you. We tell people that we hope that one day it's not something that we're bragging about, because it's what you should do. But until that day, we'll brag.
So your artisans are worldwide?
Yeah, we work with about 65 global artisans, over 20 countries. When you come into our shop, there literally is a story behind absolutely everything that we carry. Yeah.
So how does a person find these artisans? Like I have a friend who did coffee. He sold out to his partner, and they did the same thing. They traveled the world looking for coffee partners, and it was kind of basically the same thing what you're talking about. But how do you find your artisans?
Yeah, great question. The world is a lot smaller than it used to be because of internet and infinity groups. So Donovan and Sarah did legwork. I mean, they started Yobel. They were truly, boots on the ground. They were traveling all over the place. They were building relationships. They were teaching business. So we just kind of picked up where they left off. So a lot of those groups are connected to other groups that are connected to other groups. That whatever group that you belong to, those worlds are very small. So somebody knows somebody that's doing something in some place in the corner of the world, So it's while it is very challenging, because there is what's called greenwashing. There's a lot of brands out there because people are becoming more and more aware of the wrongs in the world, and they want to be more do-gooders, whether it's on the planet side or the people side. And big companies are recognizing that and trying to pull the wool over people's eyes. So they'll say that they're, only made in America, or they're, all biodegradable, when their tag is the only thing that's biodegradable, in their clothing. So it is hard. It is a challenge to find those artisan groups and companies that truly do check the boxes we want to be checked. But it's kind of a daily, monthly thing that we're doing, is searching and everything. But we have a pretty good, like I said, we have like 65 artisan groups that we work with. So it's pretty dang diverse. And for us, I feel like if it's not coffee or chocolate, then people don't really know what fair trade is. And if they do, it's kind of like that craft fair thing. They saw some paper beads somewhere and, oh, that's cute, and let's give them, we're helping out. And it's kind of demoralizing. It's there's no dignity in that. And so when we started, especially the head to toe part, we wanted people to walk into our boutique, see fashion, not see like a quote unquote, poor person in some corner of the world and feel like it's a charity. And we want people to see fashion every day, where that they get excited about. And then, oh, by the way, let me tell you the story behind those jeans. Let me tell you that instead of 1,500 gallons of water to make that pair of jeans, it only took 9, and those 9 were recycled. Let me tell you about, those earrings that are made by women that are rescued from brothels. Let me tell you about this artisan group that were suffering extreme poverty and at the risk of extreme exploitation, but now, because of their artwork, are self-sustaining for their friends, their family, their communities, and it's growing. I mean, there's a story behind literally everything in our store. And it's not unlike the stories that we want to share in our own communities.
Yeah, I think it's interesting that, when we think of slavery, we think of something that happened 200 years ago only in the United States, when it's currently active all over the world now.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Every part of the world, including the United States.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, only last September, year before? So 2 year September, we like to act like America has it all together.
Right.
America has extreme slavery, especially in the garment industry. A couple Septembers ago, LA, so LA, Texas, Florida, New York, Chicago, those are some major hubs where there's some pretty significant slave labor in the garment industry. But California finally passed some labor laws, which is huge. And we have several artisan groups that we work with in California that kind of paved the way and made things right. And we absolutely adore them. It's freaking awesome. We're very honored to work with them and share their stories. But it happens every corner of the world. We like to say that it just, slave labor happens solely in China. But China was the very first place in the world that had a fair trade factory. China. And we want to point fingers, and they're responsible. It's either China or India or Indonesia, but it happens everywhere. So we don't care where our products come from. Like I said, we're over 20 countries, but every place that we work with, man, we just absolutely love sharing those stories.
Is there an organization out there that's really focused on the slave trades currently?
Yeah. Lots. So every country has their own certifications and checks and balances. So that makes it confusing. So, kind of think of food. So if you had a plot of land and you were growing, vegetables, it would be organic, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you couldn't sell it organic because you don't have a certification. And you're never going to be a big enough farm to afford a certification. So you're not going to get the certification. So you can't say that you're organic. So you're something else. So you don't really matter, right? So for us, we don't care about the certification. We do care about the real relationship. So a lot of our stuff is direct trade, but there's a ton of different, there's Fair Trade Federation, there's RAP, there's Global Organic Textile Standard. There's tons of different, accreditations out there. And it's great when there is an accreditation, because then we just, there are already checks and balances in place. But there's also small organizations that we work with, that we're working directly with the small artisan group, and we know everything that's going on there.
Yeah. Yeah, I think this is an important topic that people should really look into. Yeah.
Well, come hang out with us. We'll pour you a whiskey and we'll talk all night long.
That is one of the things I really have enjoyed when I've come into the boutique to see art. My wife has bought some things. I bought a hat from you,
you did
earlier this spring.
Yeah.
Which was, wasn't planning on it, but I got in there. I was like, I really love that hat. But yeah, I appreciate the thought behind this and all the work that you've done to vet these places are legit, or these artisans are legit, to place them in your store. That's a lot of work in itself.
Well, it is a lot of work. It really is. But it is definitely the work that we're the most passionate about and proud about, and really just at the end of the day, honored to represent.
And it's a beautiful space you've done. That space is just gorgeous in my estimation. It just feels good when you walk in there. And you have a lot of stuff and a little bit of everything for everyone.
Yeah.
And all quality. You can just tell it has that vibe when you walk in, and to know that it's ethically sourced makes you feel good, and supporting a small business. So if you're in
Yeah,
the Springs area, you definitely need to stop in and check it out.
please do.
Sorry, I kind of cut you off there. What were you going
I
to
was
say?
just going to say, the feel good. I mean, it shouldn't be any different than and when you're buying a piece of art. You should feel good because what you're buying is true art. You're going to be proud of it. You're going to hang it on your wall. And in the same way, everything that is hanging on a hanger that's artwork. I mean, there's no way I am not picking up a needle and thread. I mean, the what goes into sewing a garment together? Are you freaking kidding me? I mean, gosh, there's just no way. I mean, that's true artwork.
Now, Emily has designed her own clothes, and she has some designs that
Um,
she's
not
working
not in
on.
the store currently, other than bags.
Okay,
She bag designs. It's definitely one of those things that's on the list in the dream category to have our own line. But yeah, we're not there yet.
gotcha. So this gallery,
Yes.
we already kind of talked about the fact that all the pieces are large. It's hung up above, hence the name Lookup Gallery. What made you decide that you really wanted to put a gallery inside something that was already gorgeous and lovely in itself? What made you decide to like pull the trigger and make it into a gallery as well?
Yeah, I mean, I think, we had talked about gallery space and, not in any way, shape, or form, in any position to start another thing, but we have space, just that the space was above everything. So it was just kind of a what if, conversation one night, and we're talking, and what would that look like? Well, we'd have to install some kind of system so that it would still be line of sight. Because if it's large and it's up above everything, you're going to lose perspective. And that was really important to us. And then, all of this happened in one night. Truly, we had this conversation, and what would it look like, and we have to figure out that perspective thing, and we spend most of our time on our phone, and everyone's hunched over and everyone's looking at the phone, but gosh, we just need to look up. Oh my gosh, the Look Up Gallery, let's just create a space where we can kind of take a breather, look up, appreciate community and friends and art and everything. And then we looked for a domain, and the rest is history. But for us, like in the art world, we love how diverse the art world is, and we don't have to do everything. But we want to do the big things. And in particular, probably just because of both Emily and I's attraction for art, we both love abstract. We both love impressionistic, and we both have kind of a street background. So that's what we focus on: abstract, impressionistic work, and a little bit of street. So while most of our artists, we have to arm wrestle to go a little bit bigger. And it's a fun challenge. Our last artist last month, Rachel Dinda, actually went small for us because she's a graffiti artist and is mostly doing large scale murals. So if you don't know about aerosol, aerosol is not not a paintbrush. It's not easy to scale down, and she did all canvas work, and I would be the biggest critic, and she freaking knocked it out of the park.
You opened last summer, is that correct?
Yep, last July. Yeah, it was my first show. Yeah, and so again, my intention is, I'll do one show. I'd like to do a show anyway. So took some vacation time and put a show together. And the idea was to do one show so that we can see if it works in the first place. But then if it does, we can show artists what we're capable of in this space. And you just don't know what things are going to be received, So we had no idea. So we put it together, installed this grid system, and then like I said before, we have yet to do a call for artists. I mean, artists just started lining up. And kind of the big joy for us is like our heroes, the artists that we look up to and are crazy geeked out, nerding out about, like we can approach them like, hey, you want a show? Great. So it's been a lot of fun. So we just started planning for 2025.
That's fantastic. So do you curate these shows all yourself? Do you work with the artists? Is it a collaboration as far as the curation, or do you just say, hey, what do you have for this particular show? And, if you have 15, I'm taking 12.
It's a little bit more, for sure there's a lot of freedom, but there's a little bit more, it's more restrictive. So we have 11 grids. And kind of 4x4, 4x5 is kind of this, what we have max space for on those grids. And then we have 2 grids that we can do. I've done front and back, 5x8 feet canvases for my show. This current one I have in the front and the back, I have a 5x6 and a 5x7 triptych. So we can go pretty big, but we can't go pretty big everywhere. But it starts big in the first place. So it can't just be like bring us anything. It has to be pretty planned out as far as size goes. So we work with artists in advance to kind of like figure out what that's going to look like.
Gotcha. And you said so Emily's part of this process as well, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Right on.
Yep. She does. I kind of do the talking. She makes sure the plane lands.
It's always good to have a pilot, right?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, she's kind of good at everything. Yeah. I'm excited. And she's just the talent.
So in giving an artist a show, what all do you offer them, and how do you work like the commission thing?
It's the standard what we do in our community. It's 50-50. We represent them for 6 months. So we do the solo show. We always tell artists that, we're going to promote you and everything, but no one's a better promoter than yourself. So if you can't draw a crowd, you're not selling a painting. So we will draw a crowd, and we're pretty darn proud of our followers. I had a soft opening last night and I sold half of the paintings, but it's because I drew a crowd. I was contacting people. I was inviting them. So if an artist can't do that, they're really limiting themselves. But so we will, have the show for them, represent them. What's cool about our space is, I think the thing that we're most excited about is the cross-pollinating. Before we started the gallery, we'd always tell people where to eat and drink and see art and everything. And commonly people would say, wait, there's art galleries here? And we're like, yeah, let me tell you about what's going on in our city. And it was always a pretty big shocker. Even for locals. And so we love the fact that people are coming in every day, not looking for art, that are exposed to art. And by nature, one, just for our business, we're going to share every possible story we can in our store about all of our artisans, including the local artist that we're representing. So both Emily and I brag, whatever, we're good. We're really, really good at sharing stories. That doesn't feel cocky or anything. We're really good at it. So we get to do that every single day. So the benefit of showing with us is people are going to come not looking for art, and they're going to be exposed to your art, and we're going to tell them about you. In addition to that, we represent the artists for 6 months on our website. We'll continue to talk to people about, but we also, like I've mentioned before, love our local art community. We love Abby and Gundy. They have a separate business aside from their galleries called Curate Your Space, where they curate businesses and homes and everything. We give them access to every artist that we represent. And then if anything does sell, then we just split our part, but the artist still gets their full commission.
Right on.
We just want to move art.
Yeah.
And if we can
That's
do it better
fantastic.
together, then let's do it together.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I love that. And, you know, I love what you have as far as how you guys share and promote each other and, you know, generally just lift everybody up, you know.
Yeah.
That's just the sense I get across the board, no matter who I'm talking to, what gallery or that I've experienced so far down the Springs. It's just a really, really nice community of people.
It's a special place for sure.
When you make big sales, what do you do with that money? You put it back into the boutique, you're putting it into other stuff for the gallery. How does that work?
We're so new at this that, I mean, everything is pretty much just paying for itself at this point.
Yeah, paying yourself back.
I mean, most months a painting sells. You know, a painting. And then, you know, a couple months later, we'll probably be able to get a commission for, you know, that artist. But the shows that sell, we had a show a couple months ago. Nicole Montanez, brilliant artist, showing again with us next year. I'm so excited. But she does a tremendous job with teasers and showing off her work in preparation and everything. So she had 4 pieces sold before anything was even in the air.
Wow.
Again, just kind of for every artist, if you're not, like, kind of goofy saying, if you're not tooting your own horn, no one's going to do it for you. I mean, you have to get out there. I mean, even if you have someone representing you, no one is going to tell your story like you can tell your story. So tell your dang story, and then let us echo it.
I love that. That's a great piece of advice right there. And I'm not sure that that's ever really been said on the podcast. So after 165 episodes, you're the first person to really say that out loud.
One piece of wisdom. I'm happy I could bring one thing.
Hey, man. There's been all kinds of nuggets in here tonight. Your show runs through the end of August, and then there'll be a new show in September. What other shows do you have coming up through the end of the year, or anything that you want to highlight?
I mean, October will be fun because it's kind of a collab of everything. I'll have 11 artists that we've represented this past year. So it'll just kind of be a celebration of the year. So I'm excited about October, and it's Arts Month. I'm really excited about next month. Christiana is showing, and I can't even give an accurate description of what she's doing. I won't do it justice. But my oldest friend in the world, we've been making art since we were kids together, spraying in alleys and ditches and basketball courts. But he's my all-time favorite artist. I mean, hands down, Nathan Travis is my all-time favorite artist. He also shows at True North, but his wife is showing with us next month. And man, these sneak peeks that I've got, like I said, I can't even do it justice. Blur and color and human form, and that's all I could say. You just got to be there. It's brilliant. I've never seen anything like it.
Right on. Anything else you want to talk about, promote on your side of things?
Yeah, come party with us first Friday. We throw a hell of a party. My brother Casey makes whiskey, so we always have some really great cocktails. My other brother Rocky is a DJ, so he's always spinning really great tunes. So we have a really fun party every first Friday. So if you want to get kind of the lowdown of everything going on and spend a night away, we will treat you well. We will definitely share a few stories with you, and then we will 1000% point you in the right direction, because there's a lot of other things to see.
And I can attest to that.
Wow, this has been fun. I mean, you're doing amazing things, and really appreciate the time you've come and shared with us everything you're doing. And that's kudos to you, man. Your artwork is phenomenal.
Thank you. Thanks for the opportunity and the pat on the back. I appreciate that.
Yeah, we really appreciate your time, Clay, and looking forward to seeing this work in person. I think it's so cool that you're part of the True North Art Gallery Collective. I love what you guys do with Yobel and the Lookup Gallery. Keep on doing it. My last question, though, for you. I know you love your family. I know you love your art community. And I know you're a champion and cheerleader of Colorado Springs. When can we, in the foreseeable future, plan on you running for mayor?
Well, one of my best friends is the mayor, so I'm not stepping on his toes. Yeah. Yimmy is absolute gold human being and is the right man for the job, without a doubt.
So no political aspirations from Clay Ross
No,
at this moment.
I'll just go rah, 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 Yimmy. How about that?
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Sounds good, man.
All right.
Again, don't forget to follow Clay on Instagram at 719Clay and check out Clay's website at clayross.art. If you want to find out more about the Lookup Gallery, go to the lookupgallery.com and you can follow the gallery on Instagram at the Lookup Gallery. The Lookup Gallery is located inside Yobel, 11 East Bijou Street, Colorado Springs 80903. They're open Monday through Saturday, 11 a.m. to 6 p.m., Sundays 12 p.m. to 5 p.m., and first Fridays 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. As always, I will have all this information and more in this week's episode notes. For the Tenant Podcast, I'm Todd Pearson.
And I'm Wes Brown.
Have a great week.